Hey everyone, Kyle Erickson here. These are the second generation AirPods Pros, and after 6 months, I'm a little worried about them. I bought these on launch and have been using them daily ever since. For the first couple of months, they were outstanding with only a few minor complaints, but lately I've been seeing some things pop up that have me concerned with their durability and longevity. These are not cheap, coming in at $249, and if you're paying that much for wireless earbuds, I'd say you're likely expecting them to last a really long time. Today I want to dive into that a little bit more and go over if you should be concerned, and outside of that, just the pros and cons with the AirPods Pro 2s over the last 6 months or so. So if you're on the fence about picking these up or you want to avoid some pain down the road, stick around and let's get into it. Alright, to kick things off, one of the main things that affects these little guys both positively and negatively is the design. They're not going to wow you with their looks by any means. At a glance, they look pretty much the same as the last generation with a few notable changes. On the back of the buds, there's a new mic and vent placement, which affects noise cancellation and adaptive transparency. And if you look on the stem, there's new touch controls that weren't there on the previous gen. Also, something that wasn't included in the first gens that they've included in the box this go around is another set of ear tips. These should help folks out with smaller ears, but for me, going through the fitment test on my iPhone, I found that I had to go the other direction and move up one size. Once I did find the right ear tips, the fitment was good. They're nice and light, weighing in at 5.3 grams for each bud. Occasionally, the right earbud will try and push its way out, but that happens fairly infrequently. And I'd say that fitment in general is subjective, and it's going to be different for everyone to some extent. The touch controls were something that I was a little concerned with when I picked these up, and it did take me a while to get used to them, but now I actually really enjoy them. The touch surface on each bud points to the front, and I find you have to be pretty deliberate to perform actions on here, so you never really see any accidental touches. The pausing, playing, and skipping tracks is all very easy. Basically anything where you're clicking these, but the volume did take me a little while to get used to. You've got to swipe up and down to adjust the volume level, which I kind of had trouble with at first. Sometimes I would get it and sometimes I would miss, but after I used them for a couple weeks, I got a good feel for that as well. The volume does get reasonably loud, and the sound quality, regardless of how loud it is outstanding. With any genre of music, everything sounds crispy and clear. The bass isn't overpowering, and audio as a whole is balanced quite well. There's not many options in terms of adjusting EQ. If you head into the audio visual section of your accessibility settings on your phone, there's a couple options in there, but if you just want a nice balanced sound, out of the box they sound great. I don't think anyone will be surprised there. It's a pretty common opinion amongst people who own or have tested them. The AirPods Pro 2 sound like a premium set of headphones, and for me the real game changer in terms of sound quality is spatial audio. This is a double-edged sword in a sense because as far as music goes, there are very few tracks that benefit from spatial audio, but if I use my AirPods Pro 2s with my Apple TV, watching TV with them sounds like I'm listening to everything through a fully fledged surround sound system. It's great for watching TV early in the morning or late at night where you don't want to wake anyone up, and there's virtually no latency. In fact, I notice very little latency between any of my Apple devices and the AirPods. The only time that I do notice is when I'm editing these videos, where I'm a lot more intentional about dealing with audio and how it lines up with video, but that's not any different than any other set of wireless headphones. Noise cancellation is the best that I've tried in a set of earbuds, which, fun fact, if you didn't already know, if you have an Apple Watch, you can go into the Noise app on your watch and you can see how much noise the AirPods are reducing. I actually can't believe how well ANC works just for a set of earbuds, and opposite that, adaptive transparency has been fantastic. Some people don't like this feature, and that's fine, but I find it really useful when I need to hear stuff around me. Usually if I know someone is going to talk to me or I'm walking outside and I want to be able to hear my surroundings so I don't get hit by a bus or something, I'll have this turned on. It does a really good job of not only bringing out your environment in the audio, but adjusting the volume of that environment. So again, you get the benefits of some noise reduction if you're exposed to really loud noise. Some people have actually used these at concerts to filter out loudness, although I wouldn't count on them to save your ears. You're still gonna want earplugs for that kind of thing. All that is great. Sound quality, noise cancellation, and transparency, very hard to beat. The one thing in all of this, I wish the software experience was a little bit less confusing. Right now, any adjustments are spread out across the settings app on your iPhone. You've got those EQ settings that I mentioned nested under accessibility. Then you've got the noise and touch control settings under AirPods or Bluetooth. I wish they would just consolidate everything into an AirPods app similar to the Watch app. It's a minor thing, but I think it would improve the experience, but as a whole, if we're talking about software, the ease of use of just pairing these to your Apple account and using them across all of your devices isn't comparable in any other product. When I pop them in my ears, they'll automatically connect to my iPhone or iPad, or if I'm close to my Mac or my Apple TV, I get a little prompt asking me if I want to connect, and then I'm just a button click away from using them. I've had no issues at all with them not working in that sense or my connection dropping, and the only time that it's a bit annoying is if I'm using multiple devices at once. The AirPods like to switch back and forth between the devices when I play something until I intervene and disable them on one device. Range has been solid, not outstanding by any means, but pretty average for a set of earbuds. Occasionally when you do hit the range limit, you'll get sync issues, but the only time that I've had problems where it didn't recover when I come back into range was in the first month or so with them. Ever since then, they've been fine, and the AirPods themselves are great. Now, you might be wondering why I said the design affects these positively and negatively, and the negative side of things has everything to do with the case that these sit in. Just like the earbuds, the case doesn't really look that much different from its predecessor. It does have an added lanyard loop, which I have yet to see anyone really use, or at least very few people. You do have the added speaker, which is nice to get an audible cue when these start charging or when the battery is low. And it does enable Find My features as well if you ever misplace your AirPods, which I happen to do frequently. The problem is inside the case. They kept everything the same in terms of how these charge, and if you owned a set of first-gen Pros, you may have bumped up against the issue that I've had with these recently. About a month or so ago, I started to notice some weirdness where one of my AirPods wouldn't charge overnight. I thought that maybe I just didn't have them seated properly, so I'd take them out and put them back in, and that seemed to work fine for a while. Finally, one day they would not take a charge at all. Everything looked normal, contacts looked clear, all of that, but they would not charge. So I took them into the Apple store, and they said that the contacts inside the case had corrosion on them, and all it takes is a quick Google search to see that this is a pretty common problem. Even the person that was helping me at the Apple store seemed to imply that this wasn't uncommon. They told me that I should just make sure that the AirPods are free from precipitation, so sweat from workouts. That kind of thing wasn't on the AirPods when I put them in the case, which I've done. I actually do work out with these in from time to time, but it's not that often, and I never put them in the case when they have liquid or moisture on them. I think what I'm seeing may be due to living in such a humid climate close to the ocean, but regardless, having these for only about 5 months at the time with no direct contact with water in the case, and having all these issues with corrosion already does have me a bit worried long term. It's something that I'm gonna have to be hyper aware of from now on, and I think it's enough cause for concern that you should seriously consider AppleCare Plus if you're buying a set of AirPods. Not only for this issue, but just in general. If you drop these wrong or they go through the wash, whatever it is, that extra peace of mind is nice to have in that regard, or if the battery dies on you. Battery life for me has been really solid. I still get around 5 to 6 hours on a single charge, and I do love the fact that I can charge the case with the watch charger or through MagSafe now. If I have a low battery on the buds, they charge up in the case super fast, and I rarely ever let the case drop below 50% charge. Having said that, again, if you're planning on keeping these for an extended period of time, after a year or two, you can potentially see that battery life cut in half. And I think to get that fixed at the Apple store is like $49 per bud or case, where AppleCare Plus is only $39. Battery life is at least something that we expect to degrade over time, but that corrosion issue is a little bit more disappointing in my opinion. Especially in something like the case, where I do believe they had the opportunity to correct this over the previous generation. Overall, I do still love these headphones, and I would buy them again if I did it all over again, but just with a little more awareness surrounding some of those weak points. I am curious, has anyone else had these same issues? Let me know in the comments down below, along with your favorite and most disliked thing about the AirPods Pros, or if you want to give a shout out to another set of earbuds, that's okay too. That's it for me today. As always, if you did enjoy this video, feel free to hit that like button. If you want to see more tech-related content, or if you want to have a Transformers theme robot dance-off, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next upload.